Chapter 1: The Map Incident. It was a sunny Saturday afternoon, and John and Lisa were planning a road trip. John, the expert navigator, insisted on using an old-school paper map instead of Lisa's suggestion to rely on her phone's GPS. "Real men don't need GPS, Lisa," John declared confidently as he unfolded the giant map, completely covering the windshield. Lisa rolled her eyes but decided to let him lead. She knew this would get interesting. As they started driving, John was laser-focused on the map. Every 2 minutes he'd glance at the road, then quickly back at the map. The turns were getting more confusing, and the road signs weren't matching what John thought. "Are we lost?" Lisa asked, trying to stay calm. "Lost? No way. I know exactly where we are, somewhere close to where we need to be," John replied, clearly unsure. Lisa smirked. "You know, we could just use the GPS. It's much easier." "Nonsense," John insisted. "I've got this." After another wrong turn and nearly driving into a lake, Lisa gently tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Maybe it's time to admit defeat and let technology help." John finally gave in, and Lisa's GPS took them exactly to their destination in 5 minutes. "Okay, maybe this GPS thing isn't so bad," John said, trying to save face. Lisa just laughed and thought, "Maybe next time, I'll drive." Chapter 2: The Shoe Dilemma. After their map adventure, John and Lisa arrived at a cozy shopping mall. Lisa wanted to browse for new shoes, and John, feeling guilty about the earlier road trip, agreed to tag along. As they entered the store, Lisa's eyes lit up like a kid in a candy shop. "I'm just going to try a few pairs. It won't take long," she promised. John smiled and nodded, but deep inside, he knew this was going to be a long day. Lisa picked up the first pair of shoes. Then the second, then the third. She spent 10 minutes with each, walking around, checking the mirrors from every angle. "What do you think of these?" she asked for the 5th time. "They look good," John said, using his standard shoe shopping response. He was already starting to regret his decision to come. An hour passed. Lisa had tried on almost every pair in the store. Meanwhile, John, who had been patiently scrolling on his phone, noticed something strange. Every man who entered the store had the same routine. They walked straight to the shoe section, grabbed the first pair they saw, tried them on for about 10 seconds, and then headed straight to the checkout. "Did you see that?" John asked, pointing to one guy who had just left. "He was in and out in 5 minutes. Why can't we shop like that?" Lisa smiled. "Oh, John, women need time to find the perfect shoes. It's not about speed, it's about the right choice. You guys just settle for whatever fits." "Well, we don't have the patience for these shoe marathons," John joked. Finally, after 2 hours, Lisa found the perfect pair. She walked up to John, who was sitting in the corner, half asleep. "All done," she announced, clearly satisfied. John smiled weakly. "Great, let's go, unless you want to check out one more store?" Lisa winked. "Oh, don't worry, we're done for today." Chapter 3: The Memory Challenge. After their long day of shopping, John and Lisa returned home exhausted but in good spirits. They decided to relax with a movie night. As they settled on the couch, Lisa asked John, "Hey, do you remember what we watched last weekend?" John blinked a few times, trying to recall. I think it was a superhero movie? Or maybe it was a comedy. Definitely something with action, right?" Lisa chuckled. "It was a romantic drama. You fell asleep halfway through." "Of course I did," John grinned. "That explains why I don't remember it." Lisa shook her head. "Honestly, how can you not remember these things? I can tell you what I was wearing, where we sat, and what snacks we had for every movie we've watched this year." John looked amazed. "Really? I can barely remember what I had for lunch today." "Well, that's because I made lunch," Lisa teased. "And it was pasta, by the way." John scratched his head, genuinely impressed. "How do women remember all these details? It's like you have a superpower." Lisa smiled. "It's not that hard. We just pay attention to what matters." She winked. Wait a minute, John said, suddenly serious. So what did I wear last weekend? Without missing a beat, Lisa replied, your blue t-shirt, the one with the tiny stain near the collar, and those jeans you always say are the most comfortable. John stared at her in disbelief. Okay, that's just spooky. Lisa laughed. It's called paying attention, John. Something you might want to try. John leaned back, pretending to be hurt. I pay attention, just not to every single detail. I focus on the big picture, like important stuff. Lisa raised an eyebrow. Oh, really? And what's the big picture here? John grinned mischievously. The big picture is that I'm lucky to have someone who remembers everything for me. Lisa playfully threw a pillow at him. Nice save, John. Very smooth. And with that, they settled in to watch their movie, John secretly hoping it wasn't another romantic drama he'd forget by the next weekend.